Well, you know what? If you didn't leave me to figure it all out by myself, then maybe I can process it a little different. But because I have to deal with it by myself most of the time, this is what you get. I need a break from this.
Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones have been through it all, but now things have taken a shocking turn. Jim's son has officially turned against Chrissy, and the fallout is bigger than anything we've seen before.
I am so disgusted with her behavior, her lack of respect. Jimmy needs to step up and be involved and take stock in what's going on around him.
Chrissy Lampkin has been a major part of Jim Jones' life for over 15 years. She's been his ride or die, his biggest supporter, and at times the one calling the shots in their relationship. But despite all that time together, one thing has never happened: marriage. Their relationship has been filled with ups and downs, some of which played out on Love and Hip Hop. From explosive arguments to public breakups, Chrissy and Jim have never had a smooth ride. One of their most talked about moments was when Chrissy took matters into her own hands and proposed to Jim back in 2011. Even then, it didn't lead to a wedding. Over the years, their status remained the same, together but not officially married. Beyond the relationship drama, there have also been constant whispers about financial struggles. Jim's money moves have been questioned, and at times, Chrissy has been accused of being the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. Some believe she has too much control over Jim, influencing everything from his career decisions to his personal life. And through all of this, Joseph has watched it unfold. He's seen the arguments, the power struggles, and the never-ending cycle of drama. For years, he stayed quiet, never stepping into the mess between his father and Chrissy. But it seems something recently pushed him over the edge. Recently, rumors have been swirling about Jim possibly getting too close to another woman, Brooke Bailey. Reports suggest that Jim's alleged involvement with Brooke caused major tension between him and Chrissy. According to insiders, Chrissy confronted Jim about the rumors and things quickly got heated. But this wasn't just another private argument. Joseph was right there to witness it. Some sources claim Chrissy didn't just question Jim, but went all in, causing a loud and public scene. And this time, Joseph wasn't just watching from the sidelines. Joseph has seen Chrissy take control of situations before, especially when it comes to his father. But something about this moment hit differently for him. Maybe it was the fact that he was now old enough to see the bigger picture. Or maybe it was how Chrissy handled the confrontation, making it clear that she wasn't going to back down. Either way, Joseph had enough. He wasn't about to sit by and let Chrissy dominate yet another situation involving his father. Reports suggest he spoke up, calling out Chrissy for always being in control and questioning why she still had this much influence over Jim's life after all these years. And then things escalated in a way no one saw coming.
Is there still pressure for you and Chrissy to get officially married?
No. You married?
I'm not married.
Your mama married?
My mother wasn't married either.
All right, then. So that should answer your question. Why you worried about me getting married?
I knew you was gonna come with it, Jim. I knew you was gonna come with it, but as a female, I still had to ask the question.
You talking to me about something that you haven't fulfilled or your mama hasn't fulfilled. So you should be worried about what's going on in my house. You should try to figure out what's going on in yours.
Okay, but as a fan watching the relationship on television, that is something that fans, we always kind of have that question.
As a fan, you fans need to turn around and see if your mama's married or if your father's married. That's what you fans need to do. And if that's not going on in your household, you fans shouldn't ask me any questions. You dig? I'm only letting people that has grown up in a household that's married, mother and father, and if you are in a marriage. If you're not...
Things had already been tense between Chrissy and Jim, but what happened at Jim's house took it to a whole new level. According to sources, Chrissy showed up furious, demanding answers about the rumors surrounding Jim and Brooke Bailey. She wasn't just upset. She was on a mission to make her point loud and clear. Witnesses say the moment she walked in, it was chaos. Chrissy was yelling, throwing accusations at Jim, and making it clear she wasn't going to tolerate any disrespect. But it didn't stop there. Some say she started breaking things in the house, knocking over furniture, slamming doors, and making a scene that no one in that house could ignore. Joseph, seeing the situation escalate, stepped in. He had been silent for years watching Chrissy and Jim's roller coaster relationship, but now he couldn't just stand by. He reportedly told Chrissy to calm down, trying to de-escalate the situation, but if Joseph thought Chrissy would back down, he was mistaken. Instead of cooling off, Chrissy turned her anger toward Joseph. She wasn't about to take orders from Jim's son, and she made sure he knew that. And that's when Joseph made a move that shocked everyone. According to insiders, Chrissy got right in Joseph's face, telling him to stay out of it. She made it clear that this was between her and Jim, and Joseph had no business interfering. But Joseph, after years of watching this same toxic cycle repeat itself, was done staying quiet. At that moment, something snapped in him. Sources claim Joseph did the unthinkable. He slapped Chrissy in front of Jim. The room reportedly went silent. No one could believe what had just happened. Joseph, still furious, didn't stop there. He immediately told Chrissy to leave, making it clear that she was no longer welcome in Jim's house. And to everyone's surprise, Jim didn't step in. He didn't try to stop Joseph. He didn't defend Chrissy. He just stood there, letting it all happen. Some sources say Jim was shocked and didn't know how to react. Others believe that deep down, he knew Joseph was just saying what many people had been thinking for years. Whatever the case, Chrissy was left standing there, realizing she had officially lost control of the situation. And just like that, the family dynamic shifted in a way that no one saw coming. After being thrown out, Chrissy stood outside Jim's house in disbelief. She wasn't just shocked at what Joseph had done, she was waiting for Jim to step in, to say something, to defend her. But Jim didn't move. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't argue with Joseph, and most importantly, he didn't go after Chrissy. That silence said everything. For years, Chrissy had been a dominant force in Jim's life. She was always the one calling the shots, making the big moves, and making it clear that she wasn't going anywhere. But now, for the first time, she was standing outside alone, with Jim showing no signs of fighting for her. Sources say Joseph wasn't done yet. As Chrissy waited for Jim's reaction, Joseph turned to his father and reportedly said, "She's been using you for years." Those words hung in the air. Joseph had kept his opinions about Chrissy quiet for a long time, but at that moment, he made his stance crystal clear. In his eyes, Chrissy had taken advantage of Jim for years, whether it was emotionally, financially, or both. And now, he wasn't going to let it slide any longer. Jim's silence only made things more complicated. Was he finally seeing things from Joseph's perspective? Was he too shocked to react? Or was he just avoiding making a decision he wasn't ready to make? Either way, one thing was clear: Jim's loyalty to Chrissy was now in question. Jim has always been surrounded by a group of friends and industry connections. Some of these people have been around since the early days of Dipset, and they've seen firsthand how Chrissy operates. According to sources, many in Jim's camp weren't exactly shocked that things boiled over like this. Some believe it was only a matter of time before Joseph finally snapped, given all the years of tension he's witnessed. One insider even claimed that some of Jim's closest friends have been warning him about Chrissy for years, telling him that she's been more of a liability than a support system. Jim loves hard, and sometimes that blinds him, the source said. A lot of us have told him, "Bro, she's holding you back," but he never wanted to hear it. But now, Jim's silence in the moment is making some of those same people wonder if he's finally starting to see the bigger picture. Social media exploded when news of the fight came out. Fans have been arguing about whether Joseph was out of line or if he was simply doing what Jim should have done a long time ago. One side believes Joseph had no right to put hands on Chrissy no matter what. They say that while Chrissy might be controlling and difficult, there's never an excuse for violence. At the end of the day, that's still a grown woman, one fan tweeted. Jim should have been the one to handle it, not Joseph. But on the other side, many people are siding with Joseph, saying that Chrissy has overstepped for years and that someone finally put her in her place. One fan wrote, "Joseph did what Jim was too weak to do. This should have been handled years ago." What's making the situation even messier is that some people think Chrissy herself may have fueled this drama for attention. With her history of being on Love and Hip Hop, there are people who believe she's addicted to the spotlight. A person commented saying she knew exactly what she was doing by showing up like that. Chrissy loves drama, but this time it backfired. One of the biggest questions coming out of all this is whether Chrissy's influence over Jim is starting to fade. For years, she's been able to control the narrative, make decisions for Jim, and keep a firm grip on their relationship. But Joseph stepping in and Jim staying silent might be the first real sign that her power is slipping. If Jim's inner circle is turning against her and Joseph is calling her out in such a public way, it raises a major question: how much longer can she hold on to her place in Jim's life? The battle lines are being drawn, and Chrissy might be realizing that, for the first time, she doesn't have as much control as she thought.
They are saying that apparently, after Jim Jones and Chrissy broke up, which a lot of people didn't even know they broke up, now he's married or engaged to Brooke Bailey. There's a lot to the story. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's take it back to Jim Jones and Chrissy being together and breaking up, okay? So, people didn't know that these two had broken up because they literally were together for like 20-something years. If you know anything about Chrissy Lampkin is a gangster chick. She used to go with Alpo. Y'all know the movie Paid in Full? She was one of the dudes that the story is based off of, Main Girl in New York back in the day.
So what happens now? For years, Jim and Chrissy have had an unpredictable relationship. They've broken up, gotten back together, argued publicly, and even been engaged with no wedding ever happening. But this might be the moment that changes everything. Chrissy has always had control over Jim in one way or another, but Joseph stepping in like this might have shattered that dynamic completely. If Jim truly felt the need to defend her, he would have done it right then and there. Instead, he let Joseph take charge. Could this be the end of Jim and Chrissy's relationship for good? Fans are already divided. Some say Joseph just did what Jim should have done years ago, cut Chrissy off before she could do any more damage. Others think Joseph crossed the line, and no matter how bad things got, putting hands on Chrissy wasn't the way to go. But no matter where people stand, one thing's for sure: this moment just changed the entire family dynamic. And for Chrissy, she might not recover from this one. Well, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.